You may be wondering, how can I actually avoid getting myself in the situation of workplace dramas and politics? So in this video, I'll be sharing 5 ways to help you get yourself out of all these situations, all the politics and all the negativity in the working environment. But before I head into the topic of the day, Namo Adesh, my name is Garret. My mission as a life coach and a law of attraction coach is to help people realize their infinite potential by tapping into spirituality, the law of attraction, and feng shui. I'm very blessed to be trained under a Himalayan yogi who's taught me the ways of the yogic teachings as well as spirituality, which is the whole umbrella of life. So, before I head into point number 1, I must first say, workplace politics is always there. It will never go away. Why? As long as there's human beings in the workplace environment, there will always bound to have workplace politics because it's being caused by people. And why people in specific? Because people will only come from their perspective or their thinking. So if there's a small organization or a large organization, the politics will be equally there. You see, just that large organizations will have more politics because there will be more people in it. So that makes more sense. Okay? So point number 1, how can I get rid of my workplace politics or try to avoid getting into workplace politics? So point number 1 is self-reflection. The part whereby I think, what did I do? Right or wrong? Okay? So always remember, in every scenario, whether or not somebody, whenever you're given a task, okay, some task may be a group project, okay, whereby you need to split the task equally among all your colleagues, okay, so equally among the team, you see. So in the team itself, once everybody assigns the work, okay, so everyone gets an equal share of workload, okay, suddenly one person starts to slack off, okay, start ghosting out, start taking their leaves and start to leave work on earlier than they should. Some even have to leave and just leave the work out there without getting it done. And due to submission time, everyone needs to cover that person's slack. So is this even fair? So you might be thinking, why is this so unfair? You see? So now your mind will start to question, I'm getting the salary, she's also getting salary, why is she getting all this luxury of time? Why is she getting the right to slack off? So then you're unhappy and you start voicing all this to your nearby colleague. And then your nearby colleague will be listening, you're complaining about that colleague that is slacking off. You start to complain to that colleague of yours. And guess what? The next moment, the person came back from the ghosting segment and suddenly just appear, hearing you from what you mentioned to the other colleague. And guess what? Started a drama, you started a politics. You see? Just because you gossip with someone and that someone told it to that ghost that just appeared out of nowhere when the credit is due. You see? So this is how workplace politics occur. And sometimes, most of the time, you need to know when to realize it. And self-realization comes very important in the working world. Okay? So you need to always revisit whether are you the one who caused the workplace politics, or are you the one who are a victim? So most of the time we take ourselves as victim, but we are most of the time the person causing the workplace politics. Okay? So avoid doing all this gossiping when you're doing self-realization. Then you realize that everything does not seem like it is supposed to happen in this way. Okay? So point number 2, focus on the positive and not on the negative. Why do I say that? Most of the time, whenever we are going towards work, okay, certain people take public transport. Wow. Most people drive. Nonetheless, whether you take public transport or you drive, there will be a time frame whereby you travel to work, to and fro. Okay, it can be 30 minutes or it can be an hour. During that process of 30 minutes to an hour, our minds, a lot of us, are always constantly shifting our mind slowly into work. Okay, when traveling from home to office, what should I be doing next? What should I be prepared for? And most of the time, most people focus on what are the problems that might surface. Okay, so they start to shift. Okay, if I don't get this work that's supposed to be submitted off today, what would happen to me? Will my colleagues all laugh at me? Or will my boss get upset with me? Or my directors will get somebody else to replace me? So you'll be thinking of all the 101 problems. Okay, I'm repeat, all the 101 problems. You see? However, don't forget, what you focus on expands. That's where spirituality comes into the picture, you see? So remember, if you keep focusing on the problems, you're gonna get problems, you see? So remember this thing, when you're traveling to work, you may be thinking, later I'm gonna be facing this meeting, and this meeting is gonna be stressful. It's gonna be a board of 20 people, and it's gonna be I'm gonna be handling it alone, or I'm gonna be handling it with one of the dumbest colleagues, which you assume is dumb. So all these things are running through your head. So you're already worrying of things that aren't happening or even haven't happened. You see? So once you start to think that way, then problems start to surface. Okay? Sometimes you may be also thinking, or you might be having a chat with the work colleagues in the kitchen or in the breakout. Then suddenly another work colleague came out of nowhere. Maybe it's just dazed. Maybe he's got his thoughts running through his mind, and it just seems very out of place. Okay, and he perhaps maybe ignored both of you when you guys are having your conversations, and just took a drink and just went out. Straight away, your work colleague that's talking to you, or maybe started to gossip with you, saying that, oh, look, I think there's something wrong with him. He probably lost the job, or he's probably lost the deal. That's why he's so upset right now. See? Then you start to agree. You agree with the negativity. You focus on the negative again, instead of focusing on the positive. That guy probably might have been wondering, maybe he's won some lotto ticket and he's trying to wonder, how can I actually spend this amount of money? That's why he's looking so clueless. And when he's walking on his way out, he's just grabbing the water and just left, and he's thinking, how should I spend that money? How should I resign? How should I use that money to do a retirement? And you guys are gossiping him, saying that he's negative, and you start to think of 101 scenarios that's running through your mind. How would that make that person feel? That person will be upset, right, once he hears that. And that's where dramas occur again. Okay? So point number 2 is focus on the positive, not the negative. Okay? Point number 3, breathe and release. So whenever you're being caught up in dramas or all the negativity running through the workplace, certain times you take yourself as the victim, like I always say. Why? Because the brain is always there to protect you, and you always feel like you should be protected by the brain. That's why you're always the victim. So whenever you're in victim mindset, a problem comes in and you will take it in and you will say that, look, I should vent it off, I should be very upset, I should be angry, I should tell somebody else. So instead of complaining it to someone, passing on all your negativity to somebody who is going to absorb all that shit, I would rather you breathe in, deep breath, and out, exhale. If that shit that you took in from the whole drama and the whole politics is so big for you, go out for a walk, go to a nearby park, or start to take in so much take in a lot of breath of fresh air. Okay, then start listening to some calming music. Calm yourself down. You see, it's no point complaining it to somebody else, because when you complain it to someone, you wouldn't know whether that person would betray you or not. Go and tell that person. Then you create more and more of all this negativity. So learn to do breath work. So that's where spirituality helps to kick in again. Okay, breath is life. Breath helps you to calm the mind, ease away from all these frustrations. You see, so just helps you to calm yourself down so that you're able to make better, clearer decisions. Breath work. Okay? So point number 4, confrontation and clearing the air. So most of the time in our digital world these days, we always shoot off emails on a day-to-day basis, okay? Same for me, I'm an introvert and I hate confronting people. That's why whenever there's problems that we always send off through emails, we get misunderstood certain times. We type certain English language and you will be like, certain people might misinterpret what you've typed in the email, okay? Certain times you don't even send an email, you send a text, and the text becomes misleading, okay? So certain people interpret the text differently, or certain people misinterpret because of tonality. Because in emails and in all this WhatsApp and SMS text or whatever text, okay, that's done digitally, people can't capture the emotions, okay? They can only misinterpret and assume using their mind and their perception, okay? That's where misunderstanding occurs. So if in the event whereby you're supposed to type, as per my email below, okay, I've already told you not to do this, okay? So this in the email might sound like it's very wrong. However, when you're saying it, may be different, okay? When perhaps maybe you will not even say it as per my email. When you're confronting the person, when you're saying you're sorting out all this disagreement, you may be saying that, oh, I think I probably would think that I've already mentioned this before in the past. So I think it's best that we proceed with what we discuss in this conversation right now, rather than as per my previous email. You see, it becomes powerful. Language is a very powerful thing when it's being put into text. You see? So always learn how to know when to confront the person and clearing the air out. Okay? The last part, taking a walk professionally. Okay? Learning how to protect your energies when taking a walk. Okay? So there's a lot of situations in life, especially in the working world, so when we're being confronted with people, especially the work colleague or the superiors that you're working with, okay? So these people, certain times they may have pissed you off in a professional way, okay? They may not have handled the client, or they may not have handled the work situation with you as professionally as they should, okay? Perhaps maybe you guys went to a work meeting, okay, and you guys are presenting to a board of clients, okay, and before you guys went for the meeting, you guys agreed on a set of method, okay, and your work colleague or your superior was saying, okay, I agree with what you say. However, when they go into a work meeting, he or she acted in a different manner, okay, and everyone disagreed, and somehow he or she tai chi that kind of things, and all the credit, all this bad reputation towards you. See, that did not happen just once. Sometimes it happens twice, sometimes it happens 3 times. So it's just a matter of how much tolerance you have and how much tolerance can you handle, okay? Certain times it can even just be, oh, can I get you to do this for me? And every time when he or she says that, the deadline is just in an hour, and you just need to rush every time, and you might even have to skip your lunch. So things like that, how much can you handle? How much can you stand? It's just a matter of when are you gonna explode, right? Because we are all humans. So if you don't learn how to protect your energies, nobody will protect your energies for you. So it is for you to learn how to decide when to take a walk away professionally. So some people might think that walking away is a shame, is something that hurts your ego, is something that shows that you, the one living, is always at fault. Why aren't you looking from a different perspective? The more you move and transit to a different work location, you move into a new organization. Even though people might say, the grass is greener on the other side, it does not mean that grass is always greener on the other side. Sometimes you move on to a different organization, you might get even more shittier colleagues, you might get even worse situations in life. However, through every situation, every mistakes that you encounter, every problems that surfaces in every leap or walks that you move, know this, you're always learning from different nuggets of life. Okay? So be courageous enough to make mistakes, and be courageous enough to walk away professionally, because it's not worth it when your happiness is at stake. Okay, it's not worth it when people just repeat the mistakes. And through all these nuggets of life that you learn through different transitions of all this workplace, you learn a lot more experiences. You start to align yourself with people who starts to value your services and value your inputs. You start to attract like-minded individuals that would like to work with you. You start to make a name and a reputation out there in the working world, and people know you professionally for your professionalism, to be able to walk away from all these troubles and all this negativity. Okay, so I hope I've covered some pointers, and if you learned something from this video, please make sure that you reaffirm your learnings in the comment section below. It's also always nice to know where you're tuning in from, so please remember to hit like, subscribe. Okay, I'm always dedicated to make 4 videos a week so that I can make you guys accountable for your growth and learning. Okay, so with that, I end my video off. Namo Dash.